In this Nioh 3 build guide, we're going to be taking a look at how to put together the Righteous Lightning build using a sword with the Samurai style as your main source of damage. I'll be showing you where to place your stats and skills to get the maximum impact for this build, as well as what equipment to use and what Guardian Spirits and Soul Cores to have. This is an early to mid-game Nioh 3 build meant for players to put together for the early parts of the game, and is strong, simple, and effective to play throughout its entirety. This Nioh 3 build uses the Samurai style mainly by using the sword, providing a simple and effective way to take out your enemies. While the sword may not be the hardest hitting or fastest weapon in Nioh 3, it is great all around, enabling both solid offense and defense. The balanced all-around nature of the weapon allows you to adapt your playstyle on the fly depending on the situation, switching between offense and defense seamlessly. Being a samurai build, you are encouraged to tackle your foes head-on, striking them with powerful attacks without needing to dodge around too much. This build prefers a more stationary defensive approach to combat, as you'll be trying to deflect or defend most of the incoming attacks, dodging only when absolutely necessary. Using what is arguably the most balanced and versatile weapon available to the samurai style, the sword, this build can take advantage of the quick movements and low-key consumption of the low stance, or the hard-hitting potential of the high stance as you go through the map. This build also relies on these two stances because the main move it will be using, Heaven Flash, is only available for high and low stance, but not the mid stance. Samurai equipment has many effects that increase your defense and toughness, ensuring that you're able to withstand incoming attacks, as well as many effects that reduce incoming damage, both physical and elemental, and also those that bolster base life. While this Nioh 3 sword build mainly focuses on the samurai style, it can still take advantage of the backstabbing ability of the ninja style, especially after burst breaking through style shift. During the window immediately after countering a red attack with burst break, the ninja style swift attacks can help deal quick damage or drain an enemy's ki rapidly before switching back to the main samurai style and continuing your assault. In terms of stats, you'll want to focus on getting your heart stat as high as possible while also putting points in strength to ensure you have sufficient requirements to use heavier equipment. Heart boosts your damage with the samurai sword weapon while also giving more ki as well as increased ki recovery speed, and these are both essential for melee combat. And while Constitution is not one of the main attributes for this build, it is required for the special effects of certain equipment to activate, so you'll want to ensure you meet the minimum requirements for those. Regarding the stamina stat, you'll want to ensure that you keep your encumbrance rate and your agility in the green B ratio at least, which is between 30% and 70% weight. And while it's not an absolute necessity, you'll want to invest some points in Constitution to keep your HP at a level that you're comfortable with, so that you don't end up being one-shotted by every enemy, especially as you proceed through the game. You'll also want to invest some points in Intellect and Magic to meet the minimum requirements of special effects for Soul Cores, but you do not need any more than that. This stat spread ensures that this build can deal excellent damage by relying on the Samurai Sword without the need to rely on different weapons. And while the Strength stat also provides scaling for the weapon, it's not as good as investing in the Heart stat, and the excellent ki provided by the Heart stat is great for keeping up the pressure during your attacks, and it allows for longer periods of guarding against incoming strikes, both of which are needed for this build. As I just mentioned, this build mainly utilizes the Samurai Sword, and you can either craft one or use one you find. During the early game, the build won't be using any specific elements, but you will want to have increased melee damage, either strong attack or quick attack depending on your stance that you prefer, to maximize your damage potential, so look for that on any sword you find. As you proceed further into the game, the Sohayutsu Rugi, which is part of the set we use for this build, is an excellent option. Alternatively, if you want to use a different sword, you can put that sword in your secondary weapon slot to complete the set bonus while using the sword that you like more. As this build does not rely on ninja style apart from the style shift counter, you can use a weapon of your choice, but I like to keep the sword and just use the sword for the ninja style as well to keep things simple. For ranged weapons, I like to either use bows or rifles, and since you won't be using them a lot, you want to look for bonuses on these that help with either Amrita gain or Spirit Force charge to help with your main attacks using the Samurai sword. Aiming for the head to get one-shot kills is the ideal situation, as you will not have enough time to whip out your ranged weapons fast enough during most fights. When it comes to armor, it's best to use the Righteous Armor set for this build, making use of the Herald of Peace set bonuses. The set does not require high stats, but does require 7 Constitution and 10 Strength for the special effects to activate. At 4 pieces, the set scales your defense with the Heart stat, which is the main stat of the build, and this will improve your defense immensely. Additionally, at 5 pieces, the set enables you to receive Guardian Spirit special effects for both styles, providing you with more passive bonuses. With all the pieces including the Sohaya Tsurugi sword, the set also changes the scaling stats of your equipped weapon for the ninja style similar to the equipped ones for the samurai style, making sure you'll still do maximum damage after using a burst break and shifting styles. Regarding the ninja style, this build is not using any named set, but using the medium version of the shinobi pieces will help increase your backstack damage by 10%. Especially after burst breaking, you can easily dodge to the back of your foe to quickly deal backstab damage before switching back to the main samurai style for this build. For accessories, the Onomori works well for this build as it increases life along with various resistances. For the extra special effects, you want to look for effects that increase elixir drop rate and give bonuses to realm resistance or key recovery speed, ideally. Either the white fan or gourd accessory works well for accessory number 2 to bolster your key recovery speed or increase your Amrita gained. Where you place your skill points is a vital part of making any build in Nioh 3 work, and in this section we'll take a look at the things needed to create this build. Nioh 3 uses skills both common and style-specific types in addition to martial arts and ninjutsu, and you can gain more skill capacity and learn new skills from various corpses scattered across the map as you explore, so it is generally beneficial to explore an area before moving on to the next one. Regarding common skills, it's great to equip Attack Mastery 2 to gain bonus to attack by 12, and using Vital Spirit in the early parts of the game increases Amrita gained by 4%, helping you to level up faster. The Attack Mastery 2 skill text can be found near the Great Ginkgo Approach Shrine in the Nioh area of the Warring States map, and the Vital Spirit skill can be found inside a small chest near the starting area, the Tenru River of the Warring States map, quite early on in the game. The Spiritualism skill will increase your Spirit Force by 5, enabling you to use your Guardian Spirit skill more often, helping with Spirit Burst breaks or dealing damage more often. For the Samurai skills, you want to focus on equipping Defense Mastery to increase your base defense value, as this will help you tank more damage if somehow any attacks get through your blocks. Defense Mastery 1 can be found inside a chest in the Maisaka Post, where you'll be going during the Abundant Evil side quest, and the Defense Mastery 2 skill text can be found in a large chest at the end of the dojo, where the Fuma Chief stays at the end of Those Who Live in the Shadow side quest. The Roaring Dragon Deflect skill, which can be found in the area near the Forest of Souls Shrine in the Tokaido area, is also great, especially once you've got the deflect parry timing down, as it will allow you to deal increased elemental damage. The Recoup skill will help manage ki while blocking immensely, as it will enable you to recover a portion of ki when guarding by performing a ki pulse. Finally, the Ki Pulse Heaven will allow you to increase the damage dealt by your next attack if you recover the maximum amount of ki possible with a perfectly timed Ki Pulse while in high stance, allowing you to deal massive amounts of damage if you time it perfectly with a full art proficiency gauge. For the martial arts, you want to focus on taking the high stance and low stance from the General Samurai node as early as possible to unlock the Samurai style's full potential, and following that, you want to get the Heaven Flash and Heaven Flash Lightning martial arts from the Samurai Sword Tree. You can rely on either variant you prefer, but I personally went with a Lightning variant to deal additional elemental damage at the cost of a longer windup. Since the Heaven Flash is usable only in high or low stance, this Nioh 3 sword build relies on these two stances mainly, but if you want to change it up using mid stance, it is also a good idea to invest in the EA Quick Draw, as it's a great tool to quickly close the gap while also dealing damage. Unlocking the Morning Moon and Night Rain follow-up attacks gives the build ample options to use with different stances. An advantage to this build is that it doesn't require Crucible Weapons skill, and you could obtain all the martial arts through Samurai skill points. The Heaven Flash attack is the main crux of this build, as you'll be spamming this move for the most part either using the high stance or low stance. Heaven Flash is great because it will stagger your opponent, dealing a considerable amount of ki damage as well as decent physical damage with the Sword Strike. Equipping the Lightning variant with the high stance and the non-elemental variant with the low stance will allow you to choose between the faster version or the elemental version depending on your opponent. This makes the move more effective against both yokai and human opponents, allowing you to rely on it to deliver consistent results. For extra moves in your repertoire, especially when fighting bosses, I like equipping the Morning Star Moon with the high stance to add a strong follow-up attack after a quick attack, and for fighting against agile opponents, the mid stance is especially great with the EI Draw skill, allowing you to gap close and then continue your attack using quick attacks or using the Night Rain move using the low stance to deliver a barrage of quick slashes. This build relies on the Samurai style mainly, and as such, you do not need to worry about the ninja skills or ninjutsus. Guardian Spirits play a significant role with most builds in Nioh 3, particularly when you are min-maxing. For this one, I recommend switching to the Kongo Jishi Guardian Spirit as soon as you get it, as it gives bonuses to life while also providing defensive bonuses such as damage reduction while attacking, and reduction in guard ki consumption, which is great for blocking with the samurai style. If you're using a sword imbued with wind, Kongo Jishi also increases the amount of wind damage you'll inflict with your attacks. As mentioned earlier, this Nioh 3 build is able to receive special effects from both styles, both samurai and ninja, thanks to the Herald of Peace set bonus. For the ninja style, the Kurama Tengu is great for this build, as it increases the ki damage of your martial arts, which affects Heaven Flash as well. The Tengu also increases elemental damage, which is great when using element-imbued weapons, and also increases the damage of the lightning variant of Heaven Slash. In Nioh 3, you'll need to put soul cores into yin positions and yang positions. Putting soul cores in the yang position will grant additional attack and defense stats, along with the talisman to summon a particular yokai, while setting one in the yin position will supply you with different utility talismans. For this build, the Gaki Chief's soul core set in the yang position enhances damage as it increases the ki damage of your strong attacks. It also increases the rate at which your Amrita gauge is charged, enabling you to use Living Artifact more often. And while it will also provide a talisman to summon the Gaki Chief to deal damage, this build is not reliant on the summon to be effective. For the yin position, setting the Yoki soul core will give you 5 power talismans, which you can use to buff your attacks for a short duration, and the Hino Enma soul core will grant you 2 Oasis talismans, which create a healing area that will gradually restore your health. Since this build is not reliant on being mobile and instead allows you to stand your ground as you block and deflect incoming attacks, the Oasis is a great sustain option, allowing you to preserve your elixirs in drawn-out boss fights. Nioh 3 also has a system where you gain useful passive bonuses through the Prestige and Title system. These are similar to specific challenges, and you can look them up under the title section of the menu to find out what you need to do in order to gain more prestige points for specific titles. For this build, getting bonuses from martial art ki damage is amazing, as it will help the Heaven Flash deplete the ki of opponents faster. Investing in guard ki consumption reduction will also help, as you'll be blocking most incoming attacks. These 2 passive bonuses will enhance the effectiveness of this build, and you can max out the other bonuses of the samurai titles afterwards. Regarding bonuses for other titles, the increased melee ki damage under the Formidable Enemies title and medicine efficacy under the exploration titles will help with the overall effectiveness of this build early on. Final tips. As I mentioned earlier, this build relies mainly on the samurai stance and using Heaven Flash to drain the ki or spirit force of your enemies, while also dealing decent damage. While the move is powerful, the initial run needs to connect with your opponent for the follow-up Sword Slash. Heaven Flash being an attack with a dashing component, you will need to line up with your foe, otherwise it will not track and has the potential to leave you wide open. While the attack itself is straightforward and easy to use against most foes, it can be a little tricky against more agile enemies such as formidable samurai foes or faster yokai, and during such situations you can supplement with quick attacks and strong attacks, but once you've closed the distance, you can easily spam the Heaven Flash to quickly drain their ki and open them up for a finishing blow. Being a samurai-style centric build, it will help immensely to recover ki using the ki pulse, especially with perfectly timed ki recoveries. Not only does this help boost the next attack, it will also help greatly with ki management, making sure you don't leave yourself open for a final blow, which can easily be fatal during boss fights. The Recoup Samurai skill and various ki recovery special effects from equipment helps with resource management during boss fights. Using the Oasis Talisman to create a healing area while you block and deflect attacks makes this a very tanky build, and allows you ample time to learn the moveset of your enemies and determine the window to unleash your Heaven Flash onslaught. Lastly, learning and getting comfortable with the deflect timings of enemy attacks will help you play this build immensely, as not only does it help you recover ki with every deflect, it will also make your enemies take more elemental damage, which is great for the Heaven Flash lightning skill, or when you're using imbued weapons. This build is simple and straightforward, and you can use it with any samurai sword weapon, but regarding the armor set, instead of replacing it with different pieces, it is ideal to replace the Righteous set with higher level pieces as you progress. If they don't drop for you, it's better to craft higher level pieces back at the blacksmith every so often as you progress further into the game. Both the wind and lightning element works great with this build, but using lightning imbued swords such as the Raikiri can maximize your damage potential with the Heaven Flash lightning skill in the end game. So that wraps up our Righteous Lightning build for Nioh 3. I hope you guys like this one. I'm a huge fan of the sword weapon and samurai style in general. I love the ninja style. We will absolutely have builds with those. But I want to know what you guys make of this. Have you been checking this out? What builds are you running? Are there any other tips for this build you might give people to make it even better? Let me know in the comments below.